Welcome back to another episode of the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I will be breaking down the Tennessee Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts. But before we get into that, make sure that you subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell so you can see when we release new content. Like this video, comment on this video, and let us know your thoughts, who you think is going to win, and potential prop bet that you like going into this. So, Ryan, I will say one thing that we realized, I think we both realized this immediately. According to ESPN, and I need to check DraftKings, and I'll check while you're doing your analysis here in a second. But Indianapolis is favored. I know it's just a point,
Yeah.
but it's favored with the over-under at 51. Do you believe that?
No. After what Tennessee just did to the Kansas City Chiefs,
And the
I
Buffalo
don't
Bills.
believe that.
And
And
the
the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and the Buffalo Bills right before that.
Yeah. And so I think this defense is playing well. I think Derrick Henry is really starting to get the ball rolling. I mean, he's leading the league in rushing yards by, I think, almost 300 yards,
Yeah.
which is just insane considering it's only week
Um,
7.
Yeah.
But
One of the things I will say is so DraftKings has it as 1.5 point favorites, which is very interesting. And one thing, so these teams that they've already played, Tennessee won. It was about a month ago, I believe it was the week 3 matchup. They played the Colts. They won 25-16. And in this matchup, because I think that the key difference between this match now and when they played in week 3 is the running game for the Indianapolis Colts. Quentin Nelson is back.
mhm.
Eric Fisher seems to be finding his steps. Carson Wentz seems to be healthy, so that's opening up the passing game. And Jonathan Taylor's really come into his own. So I wonder how that is going to play into this matchup because Indianapolis is 9th overall in rushing yards, but only they're 23 in total passing yards, which kind of makes sense because actually Tennessee is nearly identical. They're 3rd overall in rushing yards, while 25th in passing yards. So if Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts can get that running game going and kind of open up the passing game, similar to how Tennessee uses the running game and opens up their play action, this could be a very interesting game because the Colts have been playing better as of late, and they really need to get on a winning streak here if they want to kind of lock up a wild card spot because we're almost halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be
Yeah.
the big X factor because both defenses are pretty similar. Luckily for Tennessee, they don't have the best passing defense, but they're going up against statistically one of the weaker passing offenses. And T.Y. Hilton's hurt. I think Paris Campbell's also going to be hurt. So they really have Michael Pittman, Mo Alley Cox, and then Jack Doyle as well. So they're going to be relying really heavily on the running game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, too, Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines are both questionable. I do think that they are expected to play. They just probably are on the injury report because they may have taken a day off in practice or taken a no contact day in practice.
Yeah, I don't really. Today we're recording today on Wednesday, the 27th.
Yeah.
So depending on when you're watching this, a questionable on Wednesday never concerns me.
Yeah,
A
questionable on
Friday with no did not practice. That's concerning to me. But even if it's limited practice on Friday and they say they're questionable, most of the time it's like, okay, they're going to ice up. They're going to be good to go. Maybe they might not play as many offensive snaps, depending on how many they play. But to me, today, I really wouldn't worry about it. I think it's probably just a rest thing against coming up on a really big, probably one of the bigger games the Colts have played all year.
Yeah, and this game is for them to get to 500, put the Titans at 5-3. And if the Colts go to 500, I mean, I think that puts them in the 7 seed, barring I think the Patriots winning, which we'll get to in a second. But all in all, I think the Colts have really improved. I think Michael Pittman and Carson Wentz have really formed a connection similar to what Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey formed when he was in Philadelphia. And we all know Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz had a really good connection in his time there. And Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox seem to be forming a really good connection with him as well. So I do actually want to pick the Colts here because I really think that they have a shot. However, I just think the Tennessee Titans are on a roll, and I think they're just going to be able to ground and pound, and then in the second half, they'll just really be able to wear down this Colts defense that, if I'm being honest, is average, probably. Better against the run, but
they're statistically they're slightly above average, but essentially average. And I kind of agree with that. I still think that they're going to have. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a field day. The thing for me, it's just interesting to see the betting guys are going against. You could say arguably one of the hottest teams going into this week. If you look at the past 2 weeks, the statement win against Buffalo, then an even bigger statement probably, even though Kansas City's not entirely at its best, but they've competed hard against Kansas City over the past couple of years, and then they just annihilated them. And obviously Kansas City has its issues, but just to absolutely annihilate them, the Super Bowl champ for 2 years ago, the Super Bowl running up from last year, and then for them to be the underdog in this game, I think is kind of interesting. Even though Indianapolis is starting to get hot as well, I just can't see. I just can't see how they're the underdogs here, especially if that front four, as you kind of already alluded to, can just wear down that offensive line and can just get after Carson Wentz and have them be able to drop 7 into the passing game. If they're able to do that, I think it's going to be really hard for Indianapolis to get any type of momentum going on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. So, I mean, you never know. The Indianapolis Colts could do what the Tennessee Titans do, and they could just pound the rock with Jonathan Taylor, keep Derrick Henry on the sidelines, try and keep that defense fresh. I mean, I do think Indianapolis has the superior offensive line. So, you never know. I think this is going to be a very close game. So, overall, I am probably going to pick the under. I think it'll be a 24-21 type of game, pretty similar to what it was the first time. However, I just think there'll be a few more defensive plays, and I think the clock will probably run a little faster with the amount of run plays there are.
That's my thought process too, is just with how run heavy both of these offenses are going to be. I can honestly see it being not at nearly as many possessions, not as many opportunities. And if there are touchdowns scored, they'll probably be off 5 or 6 minute drives where they kind of methodically move the ball down the field.
Yeah. But all in all, I don't really have too much else to add. Do you?
No. I think Tennessee's going to win this one, and especially if they're the underdog, that means you're going to make a little extra money on your bet.
So yeah, but all in all, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so we can send you guys a message every time we post a video. And if you think we're wrong or right on this game, go ahead and make your case for your team down in the comments section, and we will be sure to respond to you. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.